All right, you saw those several stories, everything from unemployment to folks trying to survive in this environment. We still have our third anchor, CS Aden Duale, Environment, Climate Change and Forestry in the House. Kenya Kwanza government had made so many promises, especially when it came to employment. And there's so much disappointment.
We have made many promises. We are implementing most of it. Some we have already achieved the fruits. And if you allow me, we said we are going to stop what is called consumer subsidy and go to production subsidy. Today, that's why Kenya is sugar sufficient. We're about to export it. Our factories are working. That's why we're not going to import maize, because our farmers got cheap fertilizer. Production was subsidized, unlike the previous administration. And that's why the fuel price that we found when we took over government 2.5 years ago is now lower by about 40%. That's why the same unga price that was 270 is now at the range of about 120. That's why inflation is at 3% since independence.
But
let me finish.
Employment is unemployment.
Let me finish. I'll come to it. It's a time bomb, you said. So I want to have it the last. So that's why for the first time, we're the only country in sub-Saharan Africa that the dollar to the shilling was at 663. Today is at 129. Today, any of our private sector players can find hard currency. Our dollar reserve is at its best. This is the administration we promised to employ teachers. 76,000 teachers have been employed the last 2.5 years. A mark in history no administration has done. Since we came to power in 2.5 years ago, Kenya has become more secure. No incidents of terror, tell me. Even the North Rift that you have interviewed me a number of times. Today, if you go to Tiati, you go to any part of Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, many have been done. The affordable housing, the four big. This affordable housing was in President Kibaki's program. At some stage, and you asked, bring Charity Ngulu here. She was the Minister for Health. David Muraria told her, drop it. We can't do it. President Uhuru Kenyatta had 4 items: affordable housing, universal health care, and many, many others. He couldn't finish. Our administration, we know in our implementation, we'll face some headwinds. But I can assure you, we are ready to take the consequences, and 5 to 10 years later, Kenyans, let me ask you a good example. Everybody, including you sitting here, we access mortgages. Am I right?
Yeah.
What's wrong if a government, and Jeff,
But yes, you're taking us in another direction.
No, I'm coming.
Let me bring you back.
I told you.
Let's talk numbers. When this government came into office.
Olive, you've asked, Jeff has asked me, the promises you have made.
Yes, as regards unemployment.
One of the promises was 4 million jobs by the president.
If you allow me,
4 million.
If you allow me, because you said the promises, I've already told you, universal health care. Today, since NHIF was in place for 50 years, I think, it was a place for the privileged. It was only 12 million Kenyans were registered. In, I think, 1 year, the Taifa Care has registered 18 million Kenyans. Today, I am paying 39,000 NHIF contribution. I used to pay 5,000. Why am I paying extra 34,000? I am paying extra 4,000 to cater for Kenyans who access level 2 and level 3 health facilities. But let me come to unemployment.
Well, yeah.
Employment, as you said, during President Uhuru, it was a ticking bomb. Am I right?
Ticking time bomb, yeah.
Same with Kibaki. Same with President William Ruto. What has William Ruto administration? It was in our manifesto. What have we done? Number one, we have created what you have just shown, innovative. Government cannot employ everybody leaving our universities. So many Kenyans must go to the private sector. Some should go to innovation. You yourself have shown it. In the housing sector, we have already employed, the people have already employed about 240,000. But what have we done? We must configure our education system. Today, if you go to our universities, the people who get C, C+, even B, there are many who are going to the TVETs because what is available in the market is more of a practical jobs, plumbers, engineers. When you have a problem in your own house, we want to have more Kenyans with motorbikes who can rush to any household, fix the little problem. The courses that our children were going through. So unemployment is a serious issue. Labor migrations, how many governments have we signed labor migration with? And please don't say Kenyans are fleeing. When people flee, it's like when you flee from Goma. You become a refugee. Labor migration is not fleeing from your country. Labor migration, even you, I mean, you worked for CNN, am I right? Yeah. Or are you fleeing?
No.
No, you didn't flee Kenya.
I didn't flee.
There are many Kenyans who work, your colleagues who work for international media. I mean, some of them are members of parliament, like Mohamed Ado. So Kenyans are not fleeing. Only that President Ruto's administration has created a very conducive environment by signing a number of labor agreements. The countries that have the highest, for example, I'll give you.
Okay, wait.
Let me give you.
Because you said conducive.
Saudi Arabia, there are 650,000 Kenyans working in Saudi Arabia.
500,000 plus?
Yes. There are about 70,000 working in UAE. There are about 30 or 40,000 working in Qatar. I'm picking only 3 countries. In fact, if you go to the airport in Doha, and please,
we've been. It's Kenyans everywhere.
It's Kenyans.
Immigration,
so imagine,
customs.
So how do you secure and safeguard their interests? You do it, which has never been in any administration. You do it by signing labor agreements.
Yeah, but what are we sending? Are we sending maids? Are we sending drivers?
Jeff, if I may ask, because he raised the issue of conducive, right? So this government is pushing a labor export agenda.
No.
You have the private sector, FKE, Federation of Kenya Employers, say the private sector is shrinking. People are being declared redundant, are being laid off. What is the government doing to provide a conducive business environment internally to create jobs?
You know, I don't know why you're picking only on FKE. And your story, the leader of the workers in our country said that is propaganda.
But he didn't say what he was basing that on. FKE says we have gotten figures from our members.
Olive,
Atuoli does not tell us why, on what basis is disputing those figures.
The person, I'm just saying, the story we watched had 2 sides. You're picking on FKE.
No, I've asked,
I am not,
what is the government doing? No, what is the government doing? No, but you do sit in cabinet. You're defending
yes.
government policy.
Now, let me answer your question.
Yes.
In a different way, because you're very selective. Atuoli and I think Jacqueline Mugo should go and harmonize their thoughts and tell us what is the correct position. But let me tell you, the biggest contributors, both in terms of unemployment and resilience to our economy, is the small, medium sector, the informal sector. And that's why you see our country, even during the post-election violence, when there are serious economic shocks in the country, our economy still remains strong. It's because of the small, medium. Now, the people you're talking about are the big corporates. Then you must analyze how many are leaving the country, okay? How many tech companies, how many other companies and manufacturing companies are coming in? You know, when you show the country the one-side story, I think a very reputable media house, and even me as a cabinet minister, I need to know and ask the Minister for Trade and Investment, for example. Please tell us, these 2 companies have declared redundant. How many other companies are setting foot in our country? Then we make a balance. There are many, many companies that are coming to our region in the economic free zones. Please walk. How come we had one, I think 1 or 2 economic zones, export economic zones, special economic zones in our country? Today you have how many? 10 coming up. We have the aggregation industrial parks in 24 counties.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick. Out of the 4 million jobs promised
it still comes back
2022,
to that. Yeah.
it's 2.5 years later, right? How many have you created? Give us a number.
About you know, the Ministry of...
Give us a number.
No, the Ministry of National Treasury can give us the number. But I can tell you, we have created both direct and indirect employment. We have not reached the 4 million. I mean, let's be very honest. But this administration has created a more conducive environment, created more jobs, reconfigured our education model, created more practical and technical jobs and students to come from our TVETs than any other administration.
But you know what? If you had created that many jobs, you would be singing the praises. You would be...
No.
You'd be preaching from the mountaintop.
No. You know, let me tell you, Jeff, and this is why I think integrity and honesty of leaders is very important in our country. You know, for example, and the facts and figures. I mean, government must be criticized. It's world over. I mean, if you watch CNN, 3 of the 4 stories they show you are not in favor of government, but they back it with facts and figures, not, you know, like the 10 billion something you have said.
No, but that's the thing.
No.
You keep disputing figures, like the 10 billion. Sam Gituku tells us, I got these figures from here. You're telling us about 2 billion, right? In terms of employment, you're saying, okay, FKE are telling us these are the redundancies, but companies have come in. And Jeff has repeatedly asked you, out of the promised jobs, can you then tell us how many jobs have been created? Because you can't you can't dispute figures without presenting your own alternative facts.
You know, don't push me into your corner and the narrative you want to. You know, this guy knows me. I have told you, this administration, and I've given you the sectors. We remodeled our education system. We created more TVETs, more practical. We have signed more labor migration agreements with foreign governments. There are more Kenyans going out on decent jobs through and secured by their bilateral agreement mobility.
What kind of jobs?
So, than any other administration. But what I'm saying is, and it's something I'm asking you, how do you show a news item where the leader of the workers' union umbrella body, KOTU, and the FKE who represent the factories and the employers are telling the country a different position? And by the way, I don't know, they used to be bedfellows. I don't know what happened of late.
Well, you should tell us. You should know.
No. It is you.
You should know.
You always call my good friend Francis here. You should. The next bench Wednesday.
Yes.
Call Jacqueline Mugo and Atwoli. Francis Atwoli.
In the meantime,
I know Atwoli will come, but I don't know about Jacqueline Mugo.
In the meantime, I think you should have some water. You're sweating a bit.
No, I'm not. Yeah. That's what you want to create. I am very good, man. Ready for the next question. What is the next question?
We're going to take a break right now. Sunday Live. I'm telling you, this is really live stuff. You can't make this stuff up. We're going to take a break, come back, plenty more ahead. And the CS, Aden Duale, environment, climate change, forestry, is still here with us.
He had something to say about one of our tags the other day.
He did, huh?
Yeah, on the census, Garissa.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to ask him.
The question of what...
You have to apologize before you ask.
But we'll come back with that. Yeah.
You saw my tweet.
I saw your tweet.
You can't call the 3 counties of Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, Jeff, Somali region. Somali region is in Ethiopia.
Very good point. It's a very good point. You know, yes.
That's why
you made a good, and we stand corrected. We're not perfect.
You must also follow your... I mean, you have got very good audience in Northern
Indeed.
Northern.
Keep tweeting at Queen Anga Jeff.
At Barros, at Citizen TV.
At Aden Duale.
Hashtag is Sunday Live.